I'm Eric.
And I'm Jaime.
And this is Horrorscope, a podcast for people who love horror movies.
And people who want to love them. Eric, we're running out of time!
Oh my god!
We're already running out of time!
Can you put like the 24 noise counting down?
Yes, I don't know what it is, but I will find out.
She's back, Jaime. We're back.
Oh my god, thank god.
Aliens.
Aliens!
We're watching the hit sequel to the movie called Alien, and one of the most, dare I say, greatest sequel titles of all time. Aliens.
It's pretty good.
They just put an S on the end.
At least it wasn't like Alien 2.
That's like a hot debate. A hot debate if the sequel is better than the original.
I'm gonna doubt that already. Here's why we have to hop right in. This movie, I looked it up because I was trying to figure out how much knitting to bring over. This movie is 2.5 hours long.
Yes.
Eric said the midsummer of space horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jaime said, do you feel held by the xenomorphs? Which I thought was very amusing.
I don't want to be.
I just have a question for you. What do you know about aliens before you even read the book?
The movie. Or...
The movie, yes.
Yeah,
not the general concepts. This isn't the History Channel. We're not just a breakdown aliens.
I know this is considered more of an action movie than a horror movie.
Right.
I think there's a little girl in this one. She's a mullet. She's a different mullet. She's different hair. I know she's carrying... Oh, I'm looking at the... Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm looking at the poster right now on Wikipedia. She's carrying a little girl. She has a big fuck you gun.
Yeah.
That is what I know about this movie.
Love the name for the gun. It's better than what they have in the movie.
What? Yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah. What do you...
Dive into the wiki.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
All right. Aliens is a 1986 science fiction action film. Wow. See? Written and directed by James Cameron. Okay, yes, I knew that also. I forgot. It's a sequel to the 1979 science fiction horror film Alien and the second film in the Alien franchise. Set in the far future, the film stars Sigourney Weaver as Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. We get a first name. The sole survivor, and she's a lieutenant, the sole survivor of an alien attack on her ship. When communications are lost with a human colony on the moon, on which her first crew encountered the alien creatures, Ripley agrees to return to the site with a troop of colonial marines to investigate. Aliens features Michael Bean?
Bean? Yeah.
Michael Bean, Paul Reiser, Lance Henriksen, and Carrie Henn in supporting roles. Nice. Okay. Wow. So, James Cameron, huh?
Yeah, James Cameron, or Jim, as his friends know him. So I'll be referring to him as James.
Jesus.
Wrote and directed this movie. It was crazy. I didn't really I didn't put the pieces together until researching this movie that this was made 7 years after Alien.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
That is a long time. Well, the second paragraph of the wiki took years to develop, delayed by lawsuits.
Yes.
A lack of enthusiasm from 20th Century Fox.
Yep.
Repeated changes in management.
Okay, Jamie. Well, I don't need to read my research. You just said it for me.
James Cameron did Titanic.
Yeah.
He did the Avatar movie.
Yep. Movies. Come on, Jamie. We got 5 more coming.
What else?
Terminator 1. Terminator 2.
Okay.
True Lies. The Abyss. Titanic. Avatar. Piranha 2. The Spawning. His first movie.
Whoa.
And
this is right off the dome. Eric's not reading anything. He just knew that.
James Cameron is huge. He's huge in action. He's like the guy.
Not a friend of yours.
Not a friend of mine.
Okay.
James Cameron is a respectable film director, but is kind of an asshole. So.
Okay.
In his own right. Nothing too shitty.
What did he do that we hate him for?
I mean, because a lot of his movies have female action protagonists.
Yeah.
And he was kind of caught in more recent years, just dunking on Wonder Woman because she's not a real female hero because she's pretty.
Got it.
And just some.
I need to have some fisticuffs. I need to duel for Sigourney Weaver's honor.
Yeah.
And I will. And I will.
But yeah, so he in the grand scheme of compared to other people, it's fine. But he's just known to be kind of an asshole.
Okay, that's fine. But, it's not fine, but it is.
I'll take it. I'll live with it.
Okay, we'll live with it.
Well, yes, we will. So yeah, what you were talking about, Alien kind of was viewed as... Fox was weird with this property. They thought the success of Alien was a fluke. Also in 7-year span, we had like the entire boom and kind of fall of the slasher genre of horror movies.
Really?
Yeah, because like, I mean, it kicked off in 78 with Halloween.
Yeah.
And then by like 80, you got Friday the 13th, and then it's just like 10 came out
and then
each
it's
year.
Like gimmicky. Yeah, okay.
Horror was kind of like going on the decline at this point in time because people were tired of it. So like, what are we going to do? Why do we even make another horror movie? But James Cameron had written this script before he even made Terminator, which came out in 84, because they liked the script for Terminator. And then he like really campaigned for himself to like not only like direct this movie, but also just get it made.
Okay. Is Terminator a Fox movie too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Got it. Eric's a big Terminator guy.
Well, big Schwarzenegger guy.
Yeah. I don't know if we've talked...
We did on like the first episode, I think.
Yeah, but like not since then. Yeah. Okay.
Schwarzenegger, one of the greatest action movie stars. One of the greatest stars of like Hollywood of all time.
Period,
Period,
says Eric.
Yes.
I don't have an opinion about it.
Okay, great.
I'm sure I'll get one someday. Okay, so really like Terminator, but not the rest of his properties. James Cameron.
Who?
You.
No, I mean like I like anything. I could see True Lies is Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh shit! Okay, that's a powerful combo.
I just don't like. I don't. What's your take on Avatar?
Oh my god, bad.
Okay.
I saw it. I saw it with 2 other people. I was in middle school. They were dating. I don't know why I got tagged along to go with them. I think it's so that they could make out the whole time. They were just making out the whole time for like 3 hours.
But then why did they have to bring you?
I don't know, because their parents would let them because they didn't want them to go by themselves. So like, oh, it's a group of us. It's not just. But then it was just me, and so I was just sitting there like for 3 hours.
But then you had a visual spectacle in front of you of blue people.
And to the right of me, yes. That's all I remember about that movie.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I mean, even when I was like 12, I was like, this is a fucking hack movie.
Well,
it's the plot of every... I hate that trope of like go undercover to a group, betray the group, fall in love with the group, come back. It's like A Bug's Life. It's a worse A Bug's Life.
Did Bug's Life do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
because he goes undercover with the circus people as the ants, and the creepy guy makes him do that.
Oh, right.
Every movie does that. Like there's way too many movies like that, and I was like, hack. So that's my takeaway.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, like, and now he's working on 5 apparently, and there's a whole world at Disneyland.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about.
I straight up think they replaced the Bug's Life area with the Avatar stuff.
No, they're replacing that with the Marvel stuff.
Ooh, okay, good. Don't come at us, Disney nerds.
Yeah. I only know that because the last time we went to California because they just made Pixar Pier. And then we're like, oh, I guess we'll go to the Bugs Life Land ride. I'm like, they're tearing that down for that Marvel place. Like, I don't really, like, it's fine, like, whatever. And I'm on the ride, I was with my cousins, and we're just having, like, a blast, like, screaming, going, like, wow, like, overreacting to it. And, like, it kind of went on for a while. And then, like, when we were put down, because it's one that's just, like, you go up and down, like, the Dumbo rides.
Yeah.
And after that, the lady was just like, oh, I ran it a little bit longer for you guys because they're tearing this down soon, and I've worked here since they first opened it.
She's
and
like,
it was so nice.
It so much.
She's like, it's good to see somebody really enjoyed this before they take it away from us. And I was like, how dare they take away Bugs Life from this theme park? This should stay here.
21 gun salute.
I never did such a 180 on the subject. It's something I had no care or like thought of it, but something I was like, I'm going to tie myself to this fake tree for this woman.
Oh no! And then she turned into dust. She hasn't worked here for 20 years.
Oh no! She got Thanos.
Okay, all right. Oh man, she really did.
So aliens. Yeah, and another really key player in getting this movie made was Jim Cameron. I guess I am calling him James.
Now you're friends again.
Now we're friends. We're back on board.
So.
Gail Ann Hurd, who it was his girlfriend at the time, but also a producer in her own right, and she kind of helped co-write Terminator, and I think she had done some other production stuff beforehand. But James Cameron really fought for her to be producer on this movie. Fox didn't want her. They're like, well, it's your girlfriend, so she's not going to push against you. And he's like, well, she's probably going to be the only person to actually stand up and push against me. Because she knew how much of an asshole he was.
Maybe we do like James Cameron. He's a girlfriend guy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, no, we don't. Never mind. No, don't put that on the record. We'll
Are you talking to yourself?
Later. Yes.
I need to look up what he said. I think he like when he was talking because I think he dated. Well, I forget her name. Whoever was the Sarah Connor actress.
Oh,
he had married her. I'm pretty sure. And then when he was talking about the Wonder Woman thing, this is kind of the weird part. He was talking about the Wonder Woman thing. He was like, yeah, Gal Gadot is too beautiful. If you want a real, like, you know, action female lead, she has to be ugly, like the lead.
Oh my god! All right, never mind. Okay, officially on the record. James, not Jim.
James, not Jim, yes. But yeah, and so she was, I think, the key person to get this movie made. They really negotiated budget, because when they read the script, they're like, this is like a $35 million movie.
Whoa!
And she was like, no, it's probably like $15.5 million. And they're like, okay, $12 million. And they're like, we can't do it for $12 million. And they're like, but that's what we're doing. They're like, okay. And then she and James Cameron left the project.
Whoa!
And then Fox was like, okay, we'll give you a little bit more and come back. And they're like, all right, we'll come back. At this time, too, Sigourney was kind of blowing up a little bit more. She was becoming more of an established actress. So her salary was a little bit higher.
Good.
And Fox didn't want to hire her because of her salary. And they're like, wait, you want to not put Ripley in this alien suit?
Oh my god, what the fuck?
And this was like the way...
They're like, here's our new heroine, Ripley. It's just like a different person.
It's Ridley Scott. Wait.
Stupid.
But the way the wiki, I just got this from wiki, laid it out was pretty funny, was that pretty much when they said no to Sigourney, they quit the project again, Gail and James Cameron, they got married, they went on their honeymoon, they came back, and the project was greenlit by the time they came back.
They're like, I just want to get another look at you. Keep pretending to leave and turning back around.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, come back. And so, lo and behold, Sigourney is in this movie.
Okay. Great.
And a slew of fun characters. A lot of them had worked with James Cameron before, including Michael Biehn, who was the lead in Terminator. Or not lead, but like the third character that is in Terminator and Sarah Connor.
The third wheel.
Yeah.
Me watching Avatar.
So, oh my gosh.
The me watching Avatar of the Terminator. That's so stupid. Okay.
Bill Paxton, R.I.P., is in this movie. He also worked with James Cameron before. Also a great actor.
Are these people from the original cast?
No, most of these people. It's yeah.
So what this movie sounds like to me is they're like, Ripley, you gotta go back in the field, and they give her the big fuck you gun, and then they have like space tanks and they blow up all the aliens. Is that right? Nice.
We'll see.
Eric's looking like I'm correct.
We'll see. Who knows?
I'm on board.
Yeah, and so for shooting, I got this here, 75 days for shooting.
Long. Short.
Yes.
Long.
It's pretty hefty, but for like a big practical effect movie like this, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
And I'm also surprised because James Cameron had only directed like 2 other movies before, low budget American films. This was shot over in Britain, and he kind of came into conflict with the crew because they had tea breaks every day, which ate up into the time. So he was angry about that, and then also they had like no respect for him because of his inexperience.
Oh no.
So they left at one point because he kept on correcting them on what they were doing because he's like, I want you to do this. They're like, no, we're going to do this.
It's a miracle this movie got made at all.
I am shocked of how much conflict went into this movie.
Damn.
And it's like, yeah, I think that's why James Cameron like attracts somebody like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he is like, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about that with another director of like, it's these asshole directors that get the respect from other asshole actors. Like these big name people where they're like tough guys. And then some guy comes in and you think you have to be nice and meek to them. It's like, no, you have to be a dick to them and then they respect you.
That sounds bad. This sounds like a negative work environment. I am pro tea breaks. I'm pro the British cast so far.
Well, apparently they were able to work it out afterwards because, I mean, they left but then came back. And they finished on time and on budget, which is shocking.
Great. Well, it sounds really weird that the series would pivot so hard. So was anyone originally involved? Is Dan O'Bannon here at all?
Dan O'Bannon's not here. Ridley Scott is not here.
Good! Not for Ridley Scott. That's for That's reserved for Dan O'Bannon.
That's for Dan O'Bannon.
That's so weird. Were they asked?
Ridley Scott was not asked, but I guess he is also kind of a difficult person to work with. So they found a new one.
Literally, who is it? Just Sigourney.
Well, I guess even then she sounded like wonderful on the set. There's a little girl in this movie, and apparently they would just hang out together and like do little arts and crafts and chill. And she also, for every time a character died on that day they shot that scene, she brought them a bouquet of flowers.
Oh my god! See, there's one good. She's the glue holding it all together.
She is the nice part. Yeah, and that's the reason why the series focuses on her and not anybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Cameron has a habit of like blowing things out of the park on the sequels and not allowing anybody to do anything else with the stuff. Because he did that with Terminator 2, where he just like umps the ante on everything. Just turns it into this giant action movie. It's like, okay, now what?
If you saw me just go on a phrase journey, I was thinking about the fact that I asked you if anyone returned in this movie from the first one. They all fucking died. What am I talking about? She's the sole survivor. They all died.
To your credit, I thought you meant crew, but I guess not to your
No,
credit. Because you meant
I meant the actors. I was like...
The ghost of Henry Dean Stanton is actually in this movie. It could have been the cat. The cat could have came back.
Is the cat not in this?
Cat's back.
I was like, we riot at dawn.
Cat gets a big fuck you gun too.
Oh, great. Okay.
Gets a little tank. A little cat tank.
So dumb. All right. Me, not you. Me. Dumb.
Oh.
The whole point of the movie is she's the only one that lives. And I'm like, well, the guy in the Hawaiian shirt.
That's so funny.
Stupid.
That's so funny, Jamie.
All right.
It's
Anything
like, remember
else?
when you thought you saw me die in the vents? You never actually saw it. I'm
I
still here.
lived, bitch.
He didn't actually attack me. He just did jazz hands and walked away.
Gosh. Is there anything else we need to know? We gotta start watching this movie, dude.
Stan Winston Studios did the practical effects of this movie. That's not the same people who did the practical effects in the first movie. Stan Winston Studios is legendary.
Oh.
Done a slew.
So they're good.
They're real good. And
Nice.
this movie is, you'll see. H.R. Giger was not back.
That's so weird.
He was working on Poltergeist 2, apparently.
Okay. Oh, we gotta watch Poltergeist soon. We gotta start watching this movie here.
Tagline time.
Oh, fuck. Yes. Okay.
I've never felt like I'm on such a...
Hit me with them. We're losing daylight. We have to.
All right. This time, there's more.
No. Go on.
But no. As I too, when I write my horoscopes... Oh, that killed Jamie.
They just add an S. This time, plural.
There's more.
Okay.
That also is apparently like a Hollywood legend of how James Cameron pitched this to Fox, is that he wrote alien on the board and then wrote an S.
Stop.
And then turned it into a $sign and was like, aliens.
It's like the Superman S. Like,
Or like that shitty like high school.
the S everyone draws on desks. It's so stupid. All right, what else? Nothing can beat that.
No, because they just took this. I love this. This time, it's war.
That's the same thing!
Nope. Before there's more, but now there's war.
God damn it.
There are some places in the universe you don't go alone.
That's good.
Okay.
That one's good.
That's something.
Right?
Yeah, I like it. Somewhere in the deepest space, all hell is breaking loose.
Fuck yeah!
That's just a good constant that we should all know in
They're
our lives.
referencing Event Horizon just separately.
Yeah, they're not even talking about the events in Aliens. They're talking about in a separate part of the
Probably
universe.
somewhere. Right?
Lawrence Fishburne is facing off with Sam Neill in the demonic plane. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, one more. And this one's pretty good too. They're even scarier the second time around.
Okay.
Really doing the legwork there. Really just telling us what to...
Why are these so stupid? Every time!
All I know...
They're never good!
Hollywood, hire me. I would love just to make taglines. If this is the standard, I can do this. I would love to.
Horoscope. Put an S.
This time,
$sign.
there's more. There's more. This time, it means scopes.
We gotta get in here. Alright, okay, let's watch this movie. Hey y'all, it's time for content warnings for Aliens. This movie features body horror, gore, implantation, aliens, of course, and the endangerment of a child. It's lighter on horror and it's heavy on action combat, so keep that in mind. Oh, and also foul language. It's rated R. They say fuck a lot. So do we. So, you know, there you go. It's our job and it's your job to make the world a little less horrific however we can. Last week, we donated to the Austin Mutual Aid Fund to help people in Texas affected by the brutal winter weather. And we have to give a huge shout out to Carly for her donation. Thank you again, Carly. If you ever donate to the cause of the week, just let us know and we will give you a shout out in the ad break. This week, we are highlighting Tech Girl Power, which is a nonprofit that focuses on providing STEM educations to girls from lower socioeconomic levels. Their workshops are led by women of color and work to bring technology, math, science, and engineering into the hands and hearts of young girls of color. I'm a very right-brained person, and I am bad at math, but this movie kind of made me wish that I could pilot a forklift and engineer some solutions to an alien problem. So if you're enjoying the show, check them out and consider donating to them here. Okay, let's get into it. Eric, we only have 20 minutes to get out of the spaceship again.
Oh man, just blow us up. There's no way we're gonna do this in 20 minutes.
Wow, what a film, aliens. What do you got? Which I don't. If we go into the recap, you just saw my notes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's buck wild in here.
This movie was made for $18.5 million.
Okay.
It's a good amount of budget. That's a big budget, but I mean it shows. I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
Everything in this film is like everything's a set piece. Everything's a practical effect. Mm-hmm. Everything is everything. And it made estimately worldwide between 131.1 to 183.3 million dollars.
Whoa. Okay.
So the top grossing movies of the year.
He was right about the dollar sign.
Right about the dollar sign. James Cameron knows one thing, and it's money and practical effects and strong, powerful women. It was a sleeper hit. It was like, it's weird how we know it now because it's so hyped, but I guess back then it was kind of like the studio didn't really believe in it. They liked it.
So I don't know anything about how this movie is considered now.
Oh, people love this movie.
Yeah.
And there's often debates about which is superior, Alien versus Aliens.
That's such a joke.
Which we'll get into.
No, we don't. Asked and answered. Alien is better than Aliens. Okay. The end. What do you think?
There was a point in time in my life where I thought Aliens was better than Alien, but I am now on the opposite side.
Glad I know you now. Oh. There's no contest. Hands down.
Right. But it is a solid sequel, which is rare, especially for a movie like imagine seeing Alien being like, how do you follow this up? You'd be like,
I do think this movie would be really satisfying to watch right after you watch Alien, to just see them all get blown up. You're just like, hell yes, finally, yes. Yeah. Payoff.
There was a moment when I was working at one of my jobs where we sold media, and it was late one night, like 11 o'clock, and this guy comes up with like the Blu-ray deluxe edition of Aliens, and like I'm checking him out, and I'm like, oh, Aliens, like a really good movie, like good choice. And then he's like, is it? Let me ask you this question. If Alien did not exist, would Aliens be as popular as it is today? And before I can answer, he says, it would not. And then I'm like, okay, that'll be like $30, please, for this movie.
Eric, that man was me. You didn't even know. That's me. It's me from the future.
I should have. It was just Jaime in a hat. It wasn't even a good hat. It was just a plain hat. That little girl was me.
Wow. He's right.
And something that's funny.
Justice for him. He's right.
Yeah, I'll bring this up now. So throughout this movie, Jaime, I'm sure we'll get into it when we say what we liked and didn't like about the movie.
Sure.
But I want you to know that this movie got a lot of Oscar nominations.
Okay.
Best Actress. Shocker. Did not expect for a movie like this to have Ripley get Best Actress.
Maybe that's why they classify it as an action movie, so that they could nominate people.
Just a little bit.
Literally, yeah.
Best Original Score. Best Sound Effects Editing. And then Best Visual Effects Editing and Sound.
I'm holding my head in my hands. This is an audio medium, and
I don't know why.
It's
just a few nominations. Why? Is there something that you particularly picked out about this movie?
Oh my god! All right, let's get into it. Actually, despite how crazy these notes are, I'm gonna post these on the gram because they're insane.
Go for it.
I think we can get through this in a good amount of time because it's a very straightforward movie.
We only have 26 minutes.
We cut straight to Ripley in her space pod. The ship gets cut open by a robot, and then people find her, and they're like, oh, there goes our scrap. So they were like scrappers going through space trying to find ships. And she got rescued out of I wrote crypto sleep. That's not it. Hypersleep. Mm-hmm. She was rescued out of hypersleep.
Crypto sleep is my new currency.
For only a few Z's. Jonesy is alive and well with her in the pod, and we find out...
Who's Jonesy?
Jonesy's the freaking cat.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Not enough cat content. I'll say that.
That's true. Jonesy should have gone with her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, give Jonesy a gun. Everyone else got a gun. She wakes up in the hospital. They find out she's talking to a man named Burke, who is from the company. If you remember, the company is the, like, it's basically Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the sinister mega corporation that runs everything.
Yeah, it's like the corporation to end all corporations.
Yes.
Weyland and Yutani, which were two separate corporations that would form together.
Oh, okay. There's some lore. It's the guys. It's the guys who own everything. A representative from them is with her, and he explains it has been 57 years. She has been in hypersleep for 57 years. I immediately, there is a chest burster, and she's screaming, "Kill me!" And I was like, "What?" It was a dream. Okay, oops. I looked at Eric, and I was like, immediately. She asked Burke, she's about to have, like, a hearing. It's not like a disciplinary hearing, but it's like a hearing to see if she can still have her license to be a space trucker, which is ridiculous that they're having an insurance claim meeting and they're blaming her for blowing stuff up after, like, 60 years. She asked Burke, any news about my daughter? Daughter reveal. Her daughter grew up and died while she was gone. Sucks. Eric said that's the plot of Interstellar, which I have not seen. Spoilers for Interstellar.
Oh, no! Okay. Spoilers for everyone. But yeah.
I'll put it in the content. I'll put it in the before. That's basically it, right? Isn't that it? And then he, like, I don't know anything about Interstellar.
Yeah. He just goes into space and time, and then he goes into, like, the reality of creation, and then comes back and his daughter's old.
Oh, just that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really funny, though, because it's like, I get that, like, that's your dad and you grew up without him, but, like, at the end of the movie when he finally finds her, she's, like, in the hospital dying. And then he, like, her entire family that she has, you know, nourished and grown up with, and everything like that. She's like, actually, if you could all leave, my dad is here.
Oh my god.
To be like her husband or kids being like, you're
okay,
it's Matthew McConaughey, I guess we gotta leave.
Jesus. Well, don't watch Interstellar. There you go. They're having an insurance meeting. I lost my mind because the insurance team is, like, smoking. They're, like, chain smoking, and that's how we know they're, like, baddies who are, like, being... And I'm like, of course, only in the 80s do we imagine a future where people are smoking cigarettes into an ashtray on a spaceship.
Wearing blazers and skinny ties.
Literally. Oh my god. Wearing double-breasted suits. So she is pissed. She yells at them. They take away her trucker license. We find out that the planet where they found the aliens initially, it only has, like, a number
LV-426.
Okay, that planet has been colonized. I wrote down, we are absolutely fucked. So in the meantime, people have been colonizing it for the last 20 years. It is called Hadley's Hope, and someone wrote "Have a nice day" on the sign. It's terraformed, so they're able to... It's still, like, the crazy... If you're... Okay. We watched Alien. Alien was literally our first episode, but the planet is, like, wind struck, and there's, like, strobe effects, kind of, and it's, like, always in constant darkness. But now people are able to walk around outside without suits on. And
they can enjoy the beautiful weather.
Yeah. There's, like, lots of paperwork, office type stuff, people talking about how they are stuck doing, I don't know, just, like, doing mundane stuff, and then rich people on Earth are telling them what to do. Which, basically, the whole movie I was thinking about how this is what's going to happen for space travel. We joked about Elon, but, like, they're going to send... Elon Musk had a thing where it's like, you guys... Hey, by the way, we hate Elon Musk. If you like Elon Musk, go read about him. And if you still like him, don't listen to this podcast. We hate that. If you don't hate Elon Musk in 2021, do some research and then join us. But he said he was gonna, like, you can go up into Mars and you can just pay off your debt by working for him forever up in space.
Cool.
This
is his, like, he saw aliens. It was like, yeah, that's cool.
He's like, they had a good idea. Great idea, guys. They say that a mom and pop team of surveyors find the ship, and they have 2 kids in there with them. One of the kids is talking about trying to play in the air ducts, and the mom's like, no, stay the fuck out of the air ducts. And the kid's like, everyone else plays in the air ducts. This is
classic
important later.
Space kids.
Immediately, face hugger. The dad is face hugged. The mom busts in and starts sending an emergency signal, and the girl is screaming.
And to keep track, folks, that means that there has been 2 times that they found this spaceship, and within both times there has been the first person to go down there and see an egg, put their head right in that egg.
Is that what happens, or does it pop out?
They have to get close to it.
They have to get close enough to it for it to jump. Yeah, you're right.
Because I think like if they're more active, but I think they're pretty dormant, so they're not gonna like fuck around if there's just dust around and try to jump at it. The
thing that I was wondering about too, so I guess a little bit of the fuck our 20 minutes of recapping this. I thought it had to be people that the aliens were able to reproduce by. I thought that they needed people, so I was like, how do they even exist? But Eric just said it's living organisms, so yeah. It could be anything.
Any alien or animal that it comes by.
Yeah. Okay. I said it's like Kirby when you when he swallows you in Smash, and then you get the hat of the person you swallowed.
Yes.
Exact same thing. Burke and a Marine come and bother Ripley, and he's like, "Oh, I heard you work in storage. Good for you. Staying busy." And she's like, "I can't do anything fucking else." And he shushes her and he calls her kiddo. And I wrote down, "I hate him." Keep that in mind. We're gonna, keep an eye on that.
To be fair to Jaime, even more so, he just showed up to the door and immediately James like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, it's true.
Didn't even knock, just was at the door.
Like when he showed up in the hospital, I was like, I don't like this fucking guy. Get out of here. I don't like him. I didn't like his energy. I didn't like the cut of his jib. Okay, I didn't like him. And they want her to go to the colony because they like have lost contact with them. And report of something similar to what she reported. No one was taking her seriously when she was in the insurance claims meeting, which is an insane thing to say. And when she's there, all of her crewmates are popping up on like a PowerPoint behind her. No one is taking Ripley seriously here. But now they're like, "Oh, you're gonna come back," and she's pissed. She's like, "Okay, so you fucked me over, and now what? No, I'm not doing it." But then she, what does she ask him? She calls Burke back. Oh, she says, "We're going to just kill everything, right? Like, we're not getting it to get anything." And he says, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, I'm in." So we are now back to an empty ship. A lot of shots of the empty ship. Crew wakes up. It's a crew of Marines. They wake up from hypersleep. They say that they have to rescue some colony daughters from their virginity. They suck. They're just like typical bros will be bros rolled around being assholes. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if there's any androids." And like immediately afterwards, we find out one guy's an android. Yeah. He nicks his finger and it's like milk instead of blood. Ripley flips out. Rightly so. Obviously. So if we remember before, the robot Ash from the first movie was the one who betrayed all of them. She had that trauma happen. She went to sleep. She woke up. She lost her job. No one believed her. Now she's on a ship again, going to the place again with another android. So she's like, here's the thing. If someone is on your ship and they are an android, if they work for the company, or if they are an android who works for the company, I think you have cause for concern. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll say about that. She helps them. I just can tell the future. I wrote down, give Ripley a mech. Because she is in this, it's a mech to be able to ship and move things, and she's helping them out. Mm-hmm. We get to see the Marines douching around and being rowdy boys.
Yeah. I mean, they suck, but it's like, I think they're pretty well written for what they are.
Dunk. Absolutely. Yeah, they're fine. I just didn't like them.
You get it. You're like, okay, yeah whatever, dudes.
They're just a bunch of meatheads. There's a big old gear up scene where they're like, "Look at our guns, our grenades, our double gun grenades, our flamethrowers,
sticks."
Like literally, it's I don't know. And I was like, how are we supposed to root for these people? And then Eric pointed out, hell yeah, everyone loves these guys. And I was like, oh, I guess that's right. I saw it later when they had all those things at their disposal.
Especially it's that, and then also like once it's all talk, and then the second you're in it, you start to see who they really are.
That they're actually people. Burke is coming with, and I was like, why the fuck is Burke is the company guy? I was like, why is this guy coming with?
Coming in with a puffy vest.
Yeah.
And his plaid shirt.
Here's what happens. They land. They're in the colony. Colony is deserted. They can't find any people. They're going in there. Ripley goes in there with them. They find a medical bay where face huggers are alive in jars. Ripley sees them first and then gets moved aside by the Marines. They're just like, "Okay, lady, you're just here." They like don't really trust her, but they're just treating her like she's like a dumb civilian. She's like, yikes. She knows where it's bad news. They find out that they can surgically remove the face huggers before embryo is implanted, and it killed the guy doing that. So they have several of those. And then there's like the tracker is going off and something is coming towards them. And I was like, oh, it's got to be the kid. It was the kid. And so the kid is feral. She
is all of us.
Yeah, respect. Oh my God.
We go into like a little pit.
Year
There's
after
just
the
like
pandemic. It's like before and after. She runs away, and then Ripley, all of them are like, just grab the kid and get out of here. Ripley's treating her like a human, as a Ripley's want to do. And then we find she has a little nest she has made herself. Speaking of nests, they find the nest. There's two groups. The other Marines find the nest. They have it's like, so I was confused because it's like the deleted scene in the last movie. I'm so confused they took that out because it was a huge part of this movie. Is the fact that the people are cocooned into the nest. Yeah,
but they did alter it a little bit. Because if you remember from that, the first deleted scene in the movie, they were like turning the humans into eggs.
That's right. Yeah, so this was not that. Yeah. It was just using alive matter to make more eggs. But I don't know, the concept is still like, it's a pretty extreme concept to introduce in this movie if it's not in the last one. And pretty gross. I mean, they really got into it because there are people woven into it, and there's a woman who's alive, and she asks them to kill her, and they're trying to get her out of there, and then a chest burster comes out of her, and then they flamethrow everything, so she's dead, and then everyone comes out of everywhere. The line from this movie is, they're coming out of the walls, they're coming out of the goddamn walls, right? That's like the line of this movie. I feel like I've heard it before. Is that right? There's
a few quotes, but I think that's actually not that popular.
Really? Okay. I recognized it when I heard it. I was like, okay. They're wearing body cameras. It's pretty good. So Ripley, who is back there? Ripley, Burke, the kid.
Hicks.
Well, also before...
Oh, wait, no. Hicks isn't with them. It's.
I don't know the names. Yeah. I don't even know the names. The one operator guy. So Ripley has before... Oh, so at some point Ripley had a conversation with this kid. They were treating her like she was... useless, and we find out her whole family is dead. She's the only one alive. She's the only survivor. Interesting parallel. Only survivor out of a group. Anyway, all right, back to everyone getting fucked. Everyone is dead.
They did cut that scene between Sigourney and Newt where they're just like, man, you survived because you're smart, right? She's like, yeah, they're all idiots.
Basically. So there's like Ripley and operator guy, Burke, and the kid are the kid's name is Newt. Newt. Her name is something else, but they call her Newt. And they are, the operator guy is the one who's trying to give them instructions. And we found out before that he has never done a mission. So the Marines are laughing at him, and now it's showing because we're seeing body cam footage of everyone like dying, and I don't know, acid gets dropped on a guy gets lit on fire, some people get shot. There's a fucking ton of these things. Like, just a ton of them.
Colony's worth.
Yeah, and we don't see them a lot. We see them like lit up by gunfire and like in flashes from emergency lights, but we don't really see them, which I think is actually smart. Yeah. I think that was a good call.
There's a really cool moment where it's like because like the nest, it's like the whatever stuff they use to like cover the walls to like make their nest looks like the xenomorph, and there's just a moment where like one of the xenomorphs just like chilling on the wall.
Yeah, and then like pops out. Yeah. I've seen a lot of that type of art, but I think that's just the culture around the movies. So seeing it for the first time would be like, oh god, right. Oh Jesus Christ. Ripley's like, hey, we need to fucking do something to help them, and the guy's freaking out. Ripley's like, alright, so she drives their tank into the building, gets all the Marines, and drives out. Yes. Hashtag girl boss.
And they lost, like, I think 4 or 5 Marines in this process.
I think they lost about half.
The one cool sergeant guy who, like, wakes out of cryosleep immediately puts a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, that guy's done. R.I.P. So who is left? There is, I am gonna name them. Oh. There is Big Baby. So there's one guy who's just losing his shit.
Hudson.
Burke is left. Vasquez is a very buff, kind of stereotypical, still pretty good female Marine. There is hot guy. Hot competent guy.
Oh,
the
Hicks.
Guy. Hicks. All right, hot competent guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And then the operator guy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. And then there's Newt, and then there's Ripley. they're like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get rid of them? We should use nerve gas. And Ripley's like, we're gonna nuke the entire planet. And Burke is like, that is too expensive. And she says, bill me. And
it's a good line.
I can't.
It's a good comeback.
Look, every time you think you love her enough, you just love her more. At least that's my review.
It's like,
every time she does anything.
How many mics can you drop? Equivalent to the amount of aliens in this movie.
The hot, quiet army guy is in charge, and he says, okay, because the other guy's like, it's actually a multi-billion-dollar, and then the army guy is like, incorrect. He just says what Ripley said again, because he's technically in charge. They call for help. They are going to fly out of there. How did the airship get infected?
That was
a ship that brought them there.
Yeah, so the first ship that landed down, there's 2 people on there, and then one of the guys was just chilling off the ship for some reason, and then came back on and was like, oh, there's weird goop on the ship. I guess we gotta take off anyways, and then...
Yeah, alien got in there.
Yeah.
So the plane is coming towards them, and it crashes, and they're like, big baby starts screaming, we're all fucked, we're gonna die. Good thing about this movie, they swear the appropriate amount for the situation. I'm surprised they got away with that. Is this rated R?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was like NC. I don't. That probably didn't exist in the 80s, huh?
It might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because this movie could have been PG-13, minus the swears.
Because the gore is just not that bad. I think James Cameron mentioned that too. He mentioned that like you in the first movie you see exactly what the thing is capable of with all the gore and stuff like that. He's like, so I don't need to show that in the second movie.
I respect that. Yeah. So they're like, all right, we need to fucking figure it out. That one guy's like, we're just gonna die about it.
It was much more of a lot more extreme of other people who are competent in their workplaces, where there's like the one person just complaining about everything, and then you're just like, okay, but what do you want to do about it? And then they're like, oh no, that's all I have.
I mean, I guess it's a valid reaction. So basically, they end up going back into the colony, and they barricade it the way that it was barricaded before. It had been about a bit of time before it was colonized, and it had been colonized for 2 years, and then when they lost the transmission, so the colonists were fighting back, and they had barricaded it, so now they reinforced those, and they have, like, automatic guns to shoot when there's motion. This is where they have that moment talking. Ripley and Newt have another moment, and Ripley talks about how her daughter died, and Newt goes to sleep in the medical bay. Burke wants to keep the specimens, and Ripley finds out that he sent the colony here, and he sent the coordinates to the ship to Newt's parents so that they could check out and see if there's anything there. And she says, I'm gonna make sure they nail you to the wall, and shoves him against the wall. And I said, get that guy into the fucking airlock. And he says, I thought you were smarter than that, Ripley.
This guy.
She is taking a nap. She goes with Newt in the medical bay and is taking a nap. Burke lets a specimen loose in there and turns off the camera and locks them in. They're fighting off 2 of the face huggers. And they're trying to get everyone's attention. So Ripley lights a fire to get the alarm to go off, and then the other guys obviously see and go and find them. And they're able to get it off of her. It's like wrapped around her neck though, so it almost gets her. It almost gets Newt. Once they all get out of there, Ripley lays it out. So Burke's plan was basically her or Newt get impregnated with one of the embryos, and then they get frozen when they come back, and they get through quarantine, and that's how you're going to get one of these through quarantine. And then he would be able, and they're like, well, he wouldn't be able to do that because we know that he did it. And she's like, yeah, he was going to kill you guys.
Yeah.
And
it was very good, like, Among Us.
Like... Yeah, absolutely. Big Among Us energy. And he's like, this is ridiculous. That's not me. And so the one guy's like, you're dog meat, pal. And he's like ready to kill him. And I was like, that is where I am also ready. Too late. Alien time. So then the emergency lights turn on and everything is lit by red, and the aliens they thought of like literally everything except the fact that the aliens could come on top of the grate.
Yeah.
It was pretty stupid.
They also could use the vents.
Yeah, because it's like tracking, and they're like, it's not through the vents. Like, we looked at all the plans of the ship. How is this happening? And then it's like, they're in the room with us, and then they're like, oh, and then they look up, and then there's a fuck ton of aliens.
Well, you don't know. They might turn invisible.
I mean, I guess.
They might be really small, and you're not looking right.
They're fighting them, and Burke is able to escape, and he locks them in with the aliens. And that's when Eric said, Burke is actually the sole survivor and he becomes the star of the franchise. And I'm ready to riot. But he ends up getting his just desserts because he locks them out. They weld their way in through the escape route. So they're in. He locks them out again. He gets eaten by a big old mouth. They end up having to go into the vents to escape. Horrible. So they're all crawling through the vents. Newt knows where the vents are because she lived and played in them. So Newt is helping them get through. Vasquez has a million guns. She runs out of guns. She gets stabbed with the acid stuff. The shitty guy, his name's Gorman, the guy who's the operator, stays behind. And they end up blowing themselves up with a grenade and blowing up all of the air vents.
Yeah, and the big baby, as we know him, a.k.a. Hudson, a.k.a. Bill Paxton, died a little bit earlier, too.
Oh, that's right. He got dragged down. And you see the thing on his, like the hand of one of them on his face.
Yeah, one of the aliens like, get in here, bud.
Yeah, miserable.
He puts his hand over his eyes like, guess who?
Oh, no. And then they're running away. Newt ends up falling into a vent. She falls through the vent into like an area with water. And she gets snatched by a xenomorph. They're trying to weld through to get her. But by the time they're able to lift the grate up, there's a doll head floating in the water, and that is it.
Would you say that's the best the xenomorph looked? It's like the most menacing, like best lighting of it coming out.
I don't know. I don't even know. There was just so much happening.
Okay.
I don't know. I liked later a lot. But we're almost there. So the android guy earlier, he's like, okay, I'm gonna get the ship. I can autopilot it to us, and then you will have 26 minutes to get out of here, which is, if you will remember, the end of the last Alien movie. She had a set time. There's a counter down. Anyway, they're like, hey, I remember that.
Out of all the things from the first movie, they're like, all right, Aliens, the countdown.
And so it's just the end of the last movie. They have 14 minutes before everything blows up, and they get out. The android guy gets them to the ship. Hot guy got acid and his face got fucked up a little bit.
Oh no. Still hot though.
Still hot. And so he stays, and Ripley is going to go back because she knows that Newt is still alive. They don't kill them immediately, so she goes back for Newt. So it is the end of the first movie again. There's fog, there's flashing lights, there's buzzers, there's a countdown. It is the end of the movie. This needed some synth real hard because the soundtrack fucking sucks. And we'll talk about it. It sucks, okay? We'll talk about it in a little bit. But she's tracking her with a tracking bracelet. She finds the bracelet. She doesn't find her, thinks she's dead, weeps. Then we see that Newt is actually cocooned somewhere else in the wall. A facehugger pops out to try to get her. She starts screaming. Ripley is able to get to her. She shoots everything and she gets her out. And then they walk into the egg den nest.
The egg.
I don't know what it is.
Welcome to the egg den.
They're in the egg den.
It's my new breakfast shop that I'm opening up.
And earlier they were talking about bugs and how they work, and they find the queen. The queen design is great. She's like up on the top of the wall and has like a long, it looks like an elephant trunk, basically.
Yeah. Like
splooting the eggs out.
Translucent.
Yeah, it was gnarly and like kind of hairy, and it was gross. Ripley threatens to torch the eggs, and then the other backup guys start walking, and then the aliens start coming through, but then they stop because they're listening to the queen. The queen doesn't want them to torch the eggs, and then Ripley gets out and she torches all the eggs anyway.
It is. I always forget how like there's that brief like it's just like these things are mindless killers, and then all of a sudden it's like a negotiation.
Yeah. Yes, it was really weird. It was real.
And they're all coming out like snapping their fingers, like, "Hey, you messing with our mom?"
Oh my god, it was dumb. And then we get another countdown again, and we hear screeching in the distance, and I wrote down the score sucks again. And the queen deattaches herself. I thought she was like attached up into the wall. She detaches from the wall, and so then they make it to Bishop, who is the android, and Ripley's like, hey, pretty good job for an android, you did a good job. And then he's like, wow, we're friends now. And then he gets speared completely through the front. I don't know why I thought, no, that's not what happens. They think that they're fucked, everything is on fire, everything is blowing up, and then Bishop is able to fly down and save them, and you don't think that she's going to save them.
Right, because she came up in the elevator, and then the elevator came down, and the queen was like, oh, an elevator!
Literally!
Top floor, please!
So stupid. So they get up to the top, the queen is up there, she tells Newt to look away, And then Newt's like, hey, psych, the ship is here. So then they get on the ship. They're like, hell yeah, we're on the ship. They, everything blows up. There's a huge big white light explosion, and they're on the ship, and they're like, everything is good. And then, this is still on the ship in a different part of the ship, right?
What?
What happens next?
What happens next? Because they're in like a vessel that transports them from the main big ship.
That's right. Okay, they're in, yes. And then they land on the main big ship.
Yes, they're back in their home base pretty much.
Okay, that's what happens. And then I was wondering, I was like, how does she come off? The queen came with them. Spoilers! I didn't think...
Oh, the queen is with us! Oh! I did prepare the tea!
Little curtsy. Well, they did prepare the tea. Little British set humor for you. I thought the movie was over. I was like, great. I was so stupid. The queen is there. The queen attached herself to the ship. She spears Bishop through after they have their friendship moment. Rips him in half. The milk fluid goes everywhere. It's gross.
Real Darth Maul moment for him.
Yeah, but he's still functioning, so he's still able to like move around. And then Ripley is like, okay, Newt, run away, and she distracts the queen, and then we have Chekhov's mech. Ripley comes back out in the mech. It is Pacific Rim. Cue the theme song. And Ripley starts punching the queen alien, and they are just duking it out, and it's amazing.
Just whack, whack.
Oh my god, and the sound effects are like, bah, 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 like the whole time, and like the tail is like a swing, swing. It's like so...
Oscar nominated for best sound effects editing.
Okay. And then Ripley yells, get away from her, you bitch. I guess she has to call someone a bitch at the end of every movie. It's written into the contract. And she is planning to get her sucked out of the air vent. She falls into the air vent. She is able to escape. And Newt calls her mommy. We see Hot Captain Guy in his frozen pod. We see the android basically in a to-go bag of milk in his frozen pod. And then we see Ripley and Newt in their own frozen pod. End of Aliens.
Did it? That was great.
I took a lot of notes, but it's a pretty straightforward movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think about this movie, Eric?
Good, bad, or just in general?
What do you think is bad about this movie?
Or
I guess what didn't you like, to be more charitable in our framework here.
Right.
Not what is objectively bad, what you, Eric, do not like about this movie.
Let's hear what you got, because I could probably piggyback off what you have to say.
Yeah. Okay, the score sucked. It was like a traditional action movie score. It sucked ass. It was horrible. It was different from the first movie. The first movie was atmospheric. It was creepy. It was rad. This movie was you could have put any other action movie score on this movie and it wouldn't have felt any different. And that is a mistake. That is a lost opportunity.
This was done by James Horner, who the first movie was Jerry Goldsmith.
Yep.
Both credited to plenty of movies in their own rights. But James Horner worked with Cameron on Piranha. It was his, like, James Cameron's guy.
It was like, dude, yeah.
But... to give it a little bit of credit, apparently with the tumultuous filming of everything,
sure,
this movie didn't even have a pre-screening because they were still editing it before it came out.
That's not good.
And so they were working on pretty much the soundtrack to the week before. So
it feels like it.
Yeah,
like it's not bad. It just feels like they looked garage band action movie music and threw it on there, and it could have been something really special. And
where do you think garage band got it from?
I did not like the sound effects. Also, if you couldn't tell from my recap, they were just like very funny.
It was the tail noises mostly, right?
I want to know. Yes, I want to know what we were gonna watch the theatrical cut, but then you said it cut out all the good stuff. What did it cut out?
It cut out all the exposition. So it cut out her finding out her daughter died. It cut out, I think, maybe then part or entirety of the boardroom scene with her. Okay. It cut out her in the very beginning when she uses the power loader for the first time and shows off.
I feel like that all was good, but all of the marine setup was not necessary.
Of course the studios don't keep that stuff in.
I know.
That's their action movie.
We got so much marine shop banter. It was way too much of that, way too much establishing stuff for people we know are just gonna go die. And it also didn't do anything. I didn't even know who the hot guy was until the end of the movie. Until, the last 3/4 of the movie. I was like, oh, this other guy. You know?
I would argue against that.
Okay. Go for it. Go ahead.
Well, okay, but like the movie at some points feels very seamless. The world building kind of feels because like they just like introduce the fact that they terraform planets and they do it in such like a corporate like mundane way that's like, oh, cool. And so like the Marines kind of help exposit some of that stuff, but then they go like what you were saying into the details. But at least by like the time you're in there, you know exactly what each like piece of equipment does. Even though they were just kind of showing off.
They were just like, this gun has guns. This gun shoots grenades. Like, yeah. I don't agree.
It also, like, sets them up because it's, like, immediately, they're like, we have all this stuff. Nothing can stop us. The second they're in there, it's like, oh, you can't fire your guns because it's, like, there's gas.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they couldn't fire their guns. And then they did anyway.
Also, if you fire your guns, chances are you don't get some acid on you.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it sets them up. It's all that talk and all that show.
Long.
Yeah, I get that.
It took way too long. Like...
But I think Hicks set himself a little bit early on because he just wasn't being an asshole.
I mean, I didn't notice him, so yeah.
He's the sleeper hit. He's the
stupid. I don't think it was necessary. I think it took way too long. It just padded this movie out like a lot because I really like it. Really clipped once you see the aliens. Like I thought it was really satisfying how they set up and like acted logically and moved through the situation and like went through the whole survival situation. I thought it was really effective in the second half, but the first, like, it felt like way too padded out for me. I think that's mostly it. There's not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of horror elements in this movie. I think it's because there's so many of the aliens and there's so many of the people.
Right.
So it never feels picked off one by one. It's just like what you expect, but it's not like, I didn't think there was a ton of tension at all in the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if did you feel that way when you were first watching it?
I feel like, I'd still say it has horror elements to it because there's definitely like, even though it doesn't feel like a traditional action movie where they're breezing, I mean, they are blown away through these things, but they're still like always on the, they always have the lower hand.
Yeah. They're always on defense.
Always on defense. Yeah.
That definitely tracks. I do think there were horror elements, but I don't think there was any like, the first movie was all atmosphere, and this was like no atmosphere. It's like a layer of dread. Like I didn't feel like I knew the stakes were high, but it felt like since everything was pretty big, it wasn't that high.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So once you show your hand too much, then it's just like okay, now.
I don't think they showed it too much. I don't know. It didn't feel the same. It felt tonally like pretty different from the first movie. What do you think?
I'm trying to think of stuff I didn't like about the movie. It's just like it does go on a little bit long.
A little bit.
A little bit. I don't know, like some of the effects didn't age as well, but it doesn't matter because it's just such a spectacle. It's like for the time and stuff too. It's just like matte painting, miniature.
I liked them. Yeah, I like the ships a lot.
But yeah, and I don't know. Ripley is just so cool. Every time you kind of forget because she has so many lines that you forget all of them. So
and they're not lame. Like I don't know. I know a lot of lines in movies like this. It really seems like this is the catchphrase, but like she's just fucking cool.
She doesn't. She has like one of the catchphrases, but then like the three big catchphrases from this movie. One is "Get away from her, bitch."
Get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah.
2, Hudson, aka Big Baby, says "Game over, man."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
And that's a big one.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
And then Newt saying, "They come at night mostly. Mostly."
It'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
And also, like, I was like, oh, it's always nighttime. I'm confused.
Yeah, because you go outside, it's like, oh, this is...
Dang! That's weird. Those are not the lines I would have chosen.
I was watching. I was like, I'm wondering if Jaime will pick up on these lines. And you kind of were just like breezing past
No, I mean, they didn't feel... I don't know. I guess they didn't... it's a different time, I think. Yeah, Ripley... I mean, I'll watch anything with Ripley in it. I'll watch Ripley go to the DMV. She's great.
That sounds better than Alien 3.
Oh my god. They took the aesthetic from the first movie, and I think they used it effectively again. Like, you know when the emergency lights come on and the strobe lights come on, it's over. Like, shit's going down, which I like.
Mm-hmm. And fire everywhere, and explosions, and really sets the mood.
And I like how competent everyone was. Everyone really had their shit together, for the most part, and they did a really good job surviving, and I didn't feel like they did anything stupid. Like, Burke was moving off of his own motivation, but that was just his motivation.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the only stupid moves people do is just based on their personality and, like, motives.
Yeah, but I don't think I think for the most part the Marines were logical and they did a good job. I didn't love this movie. I enjoyed watching it, but I don't think I don't know, it didn't, I don't think it earned its spot as the sequel.
Ooh, oh wow.
Is that a really hot take?
That is a very hot take, yeah.
It's the take I have. I don't know, it didn't feel like the same type of movie at all. It feels like a completely different type of movie. And it was a really effective action sci-fi movie, I think, but I don't think it didn't have what made Alien so special.
It'd be so weird if we lived in like a different timeline where they try to do like another like suspense horror movie.
Yeah.
What if they just slowly ramped it up instead of having like going from one to all of them? Just do like the second one has like 2 aliens.
I don't know.
And the third one has 3. And then by the time we get to like 100,
I think it would have been tired if they had tried to do the same movie again. So I understand why they went bigger, but I don't think it was that good.
Damn. All right.
I wasn't sure what I was going to say at the end of that sentence.
I mean, that was a pretty powerful stance, yeah.
I don't know. I know you like this movie more. Why did you like it more for a while?
I mean, it's the action one, right? It's just like, the first one's just slow and atmospheric. And when you're younger, you're like, okay, cool. And then this one's like, hey, you want to see a giant alien fight with a woman in a giant mech? And then there's a bunch of aliens, and then there's Marines, and then you're like,
That's why I like Pacific Rim. That's the plot of Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim did it, and it did it joyfully. And this movie, it was just kind of, I don't know.
It's just a miserable world to live in. Every time, even like in the beginning, to me, like, I mean, I've established it before that I would never want to live in space. And it's like, yeah, Ripley like lives in like a sunless hut. Only moment of daylight, she's like in a fake park with like a fake background.
Yeah, that's right.
And I forgot about that scene. So when I first saw it, I'm like, man, the budget really cut out here.
It's kind of grim. Yeah, I think that this movie deals with how valuable life is and how valuable the lives of certain people are dictated by capitalism.
Damn.
I mean, it does, because like they're expendable. It's like the same thing in the first movie. Everyone is expendable at the cost of what the company wants. Like, he was willing to let a child be impregnated by an alien embryo and frozen and brought back to be studied, and he knew it would kill her. So it's like fucked up. I'm glad that theme continued in this. I think it could have been really easy to not pick that trail up again.
Even though it changed genres and it went bigger, and I mean, it doesn't feel like the same movie, it still like continues like the 2 main themes that I think the first movie had. One, which is what you're talking about with like the capitalism stuff, which is the best part about these movies, I think. It's like, that's like the fun aspect about it, is just like, oh, here, even with the most like designed thing to murder you, corporations still want it.
It's still worse.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fun.
It's interesting.
Compelling.
Compelling, yes. And then also, like, I don't know, there's like the whole way to read into the first one with all like the phallic imagery and like the impregnating people. And like this one, continuation of that, because it's like, all right, impregnation, what's next? Like motherhood. And this movie's all about being a mom.
Yeah.
And how hard it is. I made a joke that when the alien gets beat up by Ripley and is like pinned by the giant mech, the alien would finally talk and be like, you're not so different, you and I. We're both mothers.
Motherhood. It's a huge theme of the movie, especially because she ends up calling Newt baby, and Newt calls her mommy, like, right at the end.
What level of sacrifice will you go to save your own?
I guess. I don't know. I think the groundwork is there, and I think that both Newt and Ripley are super compelling characters, but I think the action didn't quite do it. It kind of took away from that. I think they could have focused on it more and given us a little more dread and a little bit more fear playing on that, rather than just like, oh, we know she's going to go save her. Oh, save the day, the kid's gone, but she'll go get him, you know? So although Ripley with a big ass gun it's a good day.
What'd you call it? Oh, a big fuck you gun.
A big fuck you gun. I think to rate this movie on scares, I don't think this movie is scary. I would give it a 2.5.
All right.
Right? Like, the people being stuck in stuff is gross, but it wasn't even that gross. It also didn't, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't as body horror-y as it could be.
Not even close. Yeah, I think, yeah. It was an element, but it wasn't the element.
Would you recommend this movie?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'd recommend this movie. It's a fun watch. I think watching it right after watching Alien would be a good way to process Alien first. Maybe as a second rewatch. If you watch Alien by itself, watch this, and then rewatch Alien, and then watch this movie. So I'd watch Alien twice and then this movie once.
All right.
And
in that order, watch it twice. the Jaime cut.
I give this movie 1 out of 2 moms.
Oh.
And I give it a few alien egg pods in there as well.
Yeah.
Numbers up to you. Innumerable. Anything else? Anything else about this one?
Well, in Alien 3, there are more moms. This time, there's moms.
I'm not even... I don't talking.
No.
Okay.
Please subscribe and drop us a review if you haven't already. Also follow us on Instagram at Horrorscope Pod with 1D and at Twitter at Horrorscope Pod with 2Ds. We post new announcements, news, artwork, and more. Your horoscope for the day is: set your pulse rifles aside and try to talk things out.